Well, this is what happens when someone else horns in on your idea. Hey guys, DB right here, and today I'm here for new What If, something that's been requested a few times in the What If, and it was just really hard to sort of figure out how this was going to work, and quite frankly, it's still quite difficult, considering two of the characters are going to be completely anonymous to us because we have no idea who they are. And that is, what if Caulifla was born in Universe 7? Now, in order to sort of tell this story right, we got to go back to before Frieza blowing up planet Vegeta. And well, while Bardock was arriving home, thanks to the callback order, following the events of Dragon Ball Minus, or the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie as it were, Bardock being greeted by Saiyans, and he has his pilot all worried that Frieza's gonna, blow up the planet, and once he is talking with the other Saiyan about Frieza, asking about the Super Saiyan legend, and well, as it turns out, an anonymous Saiyan also overheard the entire conversation and begins heading home himself. But at the moment, he sort of figured, what does that Bardock know? He's just a low-class Saiyan. How would he have information like that? But the more he sort of began to think about it, because it was very unusual for the Frieza Force to call back all the Saiyans like that. The last time this happened was back when King Cold was retiring. And even then there wasn't a full callback order that suggested all Saiyans had to return. Just drop everything and return. And, well, this essentially leads to him starting to think that what Bardock is saying is actually beginning to make sense after all. So he essentially sort of starts following Bardock around and more or less finds out they're going to be sending Kakarot away to planet Earth just in case Frieza does intend to blow up the planet after all. And so he this anonymous guy pretty much heads back, and the only Saiyan we pretty much know of and recognize at the moment is Renos. Renos, the older brother of Caulifla. Is it Renos or Renos? Or Reno? However it's pronounced. I'm just going to go with Renos. So anyway, Renos is the only familiar Saiyan, and him, just like his life in Universe 6, has a career in the military. In fact, he only recently just lost out his commander position in Nappa, and is basically been discharged to the military because he hurt himself. But as a Saiyan warrior veteran, he does have access to the Frieza Army spaceships. And so he managed to steal one of those. Something that can fit the entire family in, Renos' mother and father in, as well as himself. Because yes, obviously Caulifla wouldn't be born yet. We're way too early in the timeline. And so, Kakarot has indeed been sent off-world. Now, as we know, that is a good 1 to 2 days. Possibly even a couple of weeks before Frieza even blows up the planet. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was more or less a couple of days before at least, or even the same day. So anyway, Renos and his family are already on the ship. Renos is the pilot. Turns out his Saiyan mother and father weren't exactly warrior types. And while Renos' career in the military was basically supporting him and his family. So if you're expecting Caulifla's parents to be strong, that they may actually be strong in the official timeline and in Universe 6, but since we know nothing about them, I think I have a bit of creative leeway to make them, not quite able to support themselves. At least not without working, a job like Gine working in the meat house. And, well, So essentially, with a story playing out like this, and with Renos piloting, he has got to time this exactly right. Because if he is off his timing by even a smidge, one of two things are going to happen. One, they're either going to get caught up in the blast along with Planet Vegeta, or they're going to be caught by the Frieza Force. He's got to be dead accurate to make it look like that their power levels and the ship are basically going to disappear with the explosion. By the time the explosion clears, the ship's got to be out of range to be detected. And I'm pretty sure those small ships have hyperdrive capability. So pretty much with that, their escape from Planet Vegeta goes off without a hitch. And luckily, because their energies were basically the last blip of the planet before it completely disappeared with the explosion. So as far as Frieza knows, he's killed all the Saiyans, but Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta. And, well, they do end up on the exact same planet as Goku. And did they actually consider looking for Kakarot, Bardock's son? Yes, but unfortunately they had no idea what Kakarot's power level was going to be, nor did they know much about the power level of the beings of of the creatures who live here. And with other, as they found out the hard way, other animal-like creatures, beastmen, and people with different types of tails and things, it made finding Kakarot almost virtually impossible. Even with Renos's scouter. And well, while Renos does have that thirst for combat and whatnot, and is still, I guess you could say, because Universe 7, the Saiyans were evil, unlike the original, the ones on Universe 6, sorry. So essentially, Renos is considering, he could just take over a planet like this, then find Kakarot, and the Saiyans could just control that. But luckily, his parents have a bit more sense than he does, when he simply points out that doing this could actually lure Frieza straight to them. You know, just because his influence is very small in this part of the galaxy, doesn't mean they're not going to notice that suddenly there's a bit of destruction happening on one of the worlds. It's too much of a risk, and well, it's also a classic reminder of, look at your condition, Renos, you can't do anything. Really, and well, that is a bummer. Doesn't mean he still can't wield Ki. Still take on the weaklings of this planet. And, so with Kakarot being impossible to locate, they do eventually start hearing word of Kakarot. They start hearing tales about a boy with a tail who put a stop to the Red Ribbon Army, who came second in 2 of the Tenkaichi Budokais, and then won the 3rd one, defeated King Piccolo, and all that. So they did start getting mentions of Kakarot, and did actually manage to see glimpses of him a couple of times. Just, attending that 3rd Tenkaichi Budokai and witnessing Kakarot battling the Namekian King Piccolo. And it did take some time, but Renos has finally gotten used to the idea of peace. And, well, then of course we get Raditz coming into the story, and pretty much with Gohan being 4 to 5 years old, this is when Renos' parents finally have their second child in Caulifla, and well, not too long after Caulifla is born, Caulifla and Renos' mother and father simply died of natural causes. They whether this was some disease they caught back on planet Vegeta before leaving, or something they caught here on Earth. The bottom line is, because they were the below average than average Saiyan, they definitely passed on, leaving Renos to basically raise his baby sister on his own. And needless to say, she's quite the handful, and growing up really fast. And well, as it turns out, her latent potential is particularly high, just like as it turned out for Renos's. And so Renos took to training Caulifla himself, as best he can considering his injuries. And needless to say, this pretty much got Caulifla getting stronger over the years. And well, they did happen to she does know all about Frieza, what happened to their homeworld and all that. And well, a little bit earlier, before Caulifla's training began, Renos did hear something about how apparently Kakarot had defeated Frieza, or at the very least, future Trunks killed him. And yeah, so at least he knows that his race was avenged and that Frieza was killed at the hands of a Saiyan. So Renos can take pride in that, and well, and he can definitely take pride that Caulifla is quickly becoming stronger than him. Especially since Renos' injuries and whatnot. But the one thing that Renos couldn't quite figure out, because he remembered hearing somewhere down the line that Kakarot had apparently been killed, and that he and his brother apparently had killed each other or something. But how can that be? Kakarot is here. Yes, Renos doesn't know about the Dragon Balls. Not as of yet, anyway. And, well, pretty much mostly when we get to the Android Saga, the Cell Saga, that pretty much plays out exactly like it does in the original. But DB Ryan, when exactly are you going to introduce Caulifla into the rest of Dragon Ball? That's actually about to happen now. With Kakarot sacrificing himself at the end of the Cell games, Gohan is growing up and getting older, and we're just about at the time where he begins school at Orange Star High School, and Caulifla is only about a few years younger than him. And now that she's pretty much old enough that in Saiyan tradition she'd be looking after herself, living by herself, she ended up finding a little spot around the same area as Mount Palzu. She's built her own little club there, homestead, and whenever she's not there, she's in the city causing trouble with a gang of hooligans that she sort of formed with. And believe it or not, they call themselves the Saiyans. And well, one day, they're out causing a little street trouble, and this grabs the attention of the Great Saiyaman. You hoodlum shouldn't be doing naughty things like this, defacing public property. It is in fact a crime. And with them basically getting over Gohan's ridiculous posturing as Great Saiyaman, Gohan manages to scare most of the gang away. The only one who's not backing off is, of course, Caulifla, who powers up and engages Great Saiyaman in battle. And this is quite surprising to Gohan, because as far as he knows everyone who can fight like this. But then he notices the tail. And, well, with the kind of fight that Caulifla is giving Gohan at the moment, she's able to hit him hard enough in the head that his helmet rolls off, and Gohan basically has no choice but to power up into Super Saiyan in order to put an end to this fight. And pretty much, Caulifla gets up. Wow! You're a Saiyan too! And, well, she figures that because, well, the only one who's ever been able to strike her like that was her older brother. My name's Caulifla. I've never met another Saiyan apart from my older brother, Renos. And Gohan's like, so I'm right. So you are a Saiyan after all. I always thought my dad and Vegeta were the only survivors. And, well, Caulifla's not really much to talk about words and stories and whatnot. She just basically wants to get in there. So how'd you do that? Make your hair go all golden and all that power. I want to do that. I want to learn that. And, Gohan's, well, not sure if he should be teaching someone. You know, he's already got Videl bugging him about teaching him how to fly. And, well, Caulifla actually inadvertently blackmails Gohan the same way Videl does. Well, if you don't train me, I'll just have to tell the police who the Great Saiyaman really is. Goo! So with that, he's pretty much caught between now training up Caulifla and teaching her how to go Super Saiyan, which I think, at least for right now, this is where we're going to leave things. So what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this part? I know that's kind of a shame we had to keep Caulifla's parents an unknown and anonymity. It's just the fact is we know nothing about them. You know, I could have made something crazy that she could have been the daughter of maybe Fasha and Tora or something crazy like that. Two Saiyans we well know of, but I didn't think the fandom would exactly like me that much if I did that. But, as always, leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hopefully let the comedy continue when we continue this next time.